This is the first time I'm posting anything online about this. I'm a 31-year-old woman, married, and recently moved back into my parents' house due to moving back into the town I grew up in. My husband and I are taking our time to look for our own place due to wanting something really nice in the area, and that is usually hard to find. This story takes place in my parents' house starting back about 10 years ago. A description of the house for a bit of content is that it's a 2-story brick/stone house in city limits, but still surrounded by nothing but woods. You have to go through a garage that leads into the kitchen, with the first bedroom to your left. Past the kitchen is the main living room, and to the right is the hall that is very open. In this area, you will find the main dining room and the second living area, but if you continue straight, you will see the staircase to your left, and even further straight is my parents' bedroom and bathroom. Going up the stairs, you will come to the third living area. Yes, this is a huge house, with 2 sets of French doors, side by side, that lead to the outside balcony. Going straight, the sharp left leads you to the other 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. This is where our story takes place. The first time I stepped foot into this house, I immediately felt off, like something just wasn't right. I felt a presence, but I didn't know what or who it was. I brushed it off thinking I was reading too much into it. I continued to feel this way for the next couple of years, and because of this, I didn't enjoy visiting my parents very much. My parents liked to gamble a lot back in the day, so they would ask me to babysit my baby brother and sister, at least one day on the weekend. My boyfriend, who's now my husband, loved them, so he would always babysit with me. The first few times, I really didn't pay attention to the feeling, because we would be busy playing or eating with the kids. After that, things kind of chilled out, and we would end up watching movies until it was time for us to go. Now, my husband is a bit of a freak of nature. It's like he falls asleep the second his eyes are closed. Me, on the other hand, takes forever to get comfortable enough to wind down my mind. I also don't sleep very well when I eventually do get to sleep. This night was the first time I saw and heard something in this brand new house. In this room, the bed is facing the door, but not directly in front of it. With the double doors open, you can see the front of the staircase and all the way down the hallway. As long as the light is on, that is. This night, only one of the hallway lights were on. I was laying in bed with the TV on, but the volume down low, so I could hear if one of the kids called me. I was almost asleep when I heard one of my siblings coming down the stairs. I opened my eyes a bit and waited for them to get to the bottom, but they never did. I don't think anything of it. I close my eyes and begin to drift off again to sleep. A few minutes later, I hear it again. So I open my eyes and wait, but again, they never get to the bottom. This time I sit up and listen, a bit spooked, but nothing I can't handle. I get a bit nervous, but I still go and check to see if they're there, and maybe they're scared too. Maybe they're scared to come all the way down or something, but no one is there. Confused and thinking I must be dreaming it up, I go back to bed, this time closing one of the double doors. It was a few hours later, around 2:30 a.m., when I felt like someone was very near me, as if they're standing right next to the bed in front of me. Usually, when I opened my eyes, I would see the green glow of the alarm clock on the bedside table, but this time I saw nothing. It was pitch black. I couldn't even see the hallway light on, and the TV had turned off on its own. I felt like I couldn't move. I was awake now and scared to my bones. I was finally able to call out my husband's name loud enough to wake him. He reached over and turned on the light. And right then, the scared feeling went away, and I was able to move. I freaked out and I started crying. I couldn't begin to explain to him what had happened, because even if I had, he didn't believe in those things. So I told him I was having a nightmare and asked him to go check on the kids. When he came back, he said the kids were fine, and he got back into bed. With the light on, I was able to fall asleep, but it took me forever. The next day, I told my mom about what had happened, and that's when she told me. She had been hearing footsteps on the stairs at night, and even saw someone standing by the door at times. She didn't tell anyone, because she didn't want to scare the kids. This is when she told me what she had done. She wanted to know what was going on in her house, so she went and bought a voice recorder. One day, she decided to use it and went upstairs while everyone was gone. She asked her typical questions of who is here, and what do you want, and why are you here? And then said, "You have passed away and need to go into the light. You're not welcome here." The next day, she decided to leave the recorder in one of the bedrooms upstairs, while it was recording for about 4 hours while she was running out errands. I asked if she had checked it, and to my surprise, she said she was too afraid to listen to it alone. I wanted to listen to it. Off we went to the computer and began listening to it after it was uploaded. During the 4 hours she was gone, you could hear something clicking or tapping, sounds of a drawer opening and closing, but we weren't for sure. Then we listened to the part where she was asking questions. Now you could hear a sound that resembled a fan or something static throughout the whole thing. So some sounds were indistinguishable. But the one sound we did hear chilled us to the core. When she asked, "What do you want?" it gave us an answer. Let's change my brother's name for this story, but the answer was Jamie. It didn't answer any of the other questions except for that one. I cried immediately. He wasn't having night terrors for no reason. Something was there for him every night. We soon asked a friend to cleanse the house. For a long time after that, everything was okay. My brother stopped having night terrors, my mom was able to sleep comfortably, and all was good again. Until now. I have been living in this house for a month and a half. For the last 3 weeks, I've been seeing things everywhere, especially when I'm alone. Because of this, I won't stay alone anymore. I get this strong feeling of being watched. I had the feeling of someone pulling on my blanket at night. I think it's time for another cleanse. Oh, and just an FYI, I am the 3rd generation on my mother's side of the family that is able to see spirits. My dad's side of the family has, in the past, before I was born, practiced some black magic. I don't like speaking to them, and I won't dabble in that other spiritual stuff. Most people do. I stay as far away from that as possible, and I recommend that you do too. Even if you're careful, those spirits can haunt you for a very long time, even after you're gone. Here's an update. So I was sitting in the living room and on the floor playing with my nephew. My mom's on the left couch and my sister's on the right couch. My nephew has a toy piano that is made of cloth and can be folded up. This piano is behind us in the corner with all of my nephew's other toys. We're talking and watching my nephew attempt to walk when the piano makes this sound. It's like someone is pressing the keys slowly. We stop and stare, and then look at each other shocked. Then the keys are pressed rapidly until finally it shuts off on its own. Mom and I are not scared, but my sister's terrified due to something that happened to her last night around midnight. But that's a different story.